Hey there, hobbits. I am today here with Gandalf the Grey, little Fuggler. If you haven't heard of Fugglers, they're hilarious. They are kind of ugly and kind of cute at the same time, and they are always have these teeth. Their teeth are so, see their little teeth, and all of them always have a little button here on their backside. So, but I'm here with Gandalf the Grey, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to tell you a little bit about how to be able to identify first edition books. And as I am picking up knowledge here and there, as I read more and more, as I handle more books that are older or more books that are just hot off the press, I would love to share with you some of the knowledge that I've gained from that. So here is a video of me sharing that with you. Hey there, hobbits. There may be a lot of reasons why you might want a first edition book. One of the reasons might be because you want to collect first edition books. Another reason might be because, hey, there's an estate sale, a garage sale, and you get a book and you see it's a first edition and you might want to sell it for what it's worth online or to a bookseller. Another reason may be because you can understand the value of a book and want to just keep it and preserve it just for yourself. And so there may be many reasons on why. And here I want to show you a little bit about what I've learned on how to identify a first edition book. Your first thing you want to look at is your copyright page. So here I'm opening up, this is Susanna Clarke's Piranesi book. And this is a hardback book. And we go to the copyright page here, and the first thing you want to look at, the copyright page is going to have all the information about the publisher, the author. It's also going to give information to librarians on where to store the book to find it quickly. And you want to look at what's called the printer's key. That's going to help a lot. And the printer's key is an arrangement of numbers, usually in consecutive order, 1 to 10. Sometimes it's 10 to 1. And in this case, the publisher decided to have a little pattern where the 1, and the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You're going to see that. You want to look for a number 1. You want to look for a number 1. If you have a number 1, this is the first printing. If it's the first printing, it automatically is a first edition book. Sometimes you'll see that it says first edition on here, and sometimes it won't. But this is how you know that this is a first edition, first printing of a book. Not every first edition is a first printing, and every first printing is a first edition. And I'll give you a little bit of examples of that with these other books. Here is a good example. So if a book has not been changed, there's no change at all, it is still considered a first edition, but it might have been printed several times. So usually a publisher or a printer company will publish and print out, let's say 10,000 copies of a book or 1,000 copies of a book. It sold a lot more than they thought it was going to sell, so they reprint the book and distribute it more. And there was no changes, no edits to the book. It's still a first edition, but it was printed for a second time. That's your second printing or third printing or fourth printing. So here's a good example. This is a first edition book. And we go to the copyright page, and there is no printer's key. This publisher has decided to just let you know this is a fifth printing. Let me see if I can focus in on that. There we go. This is a fifth printing, and then it tells you the month and the date. Here, I think it also mentions that it is a first edition, though. Right there. First edition, but this is a fifth printing. So not first edition, first printing, which is what collectors are looking for. They're going to look for the first edition, first printing of books. That's going to be the most valuable book, is your first edition, first printing. So if you don't have that number one in the key, you don't have a first printing of a book. This one here is really interesting also. So we're going to go to the copyright page. Let's see if it's a first edition. And here we have our printer's key. And you want to look for the smallest number. So the smallest number here is a 1. So we do have a first printing, first edition. And this one actually also tells you first edition on there. And something else, you see these numbers here. This is going to tell you the year that it was published. And it is a first edition, first printing of the 2021 copy that they made, or 2021 book. So sometimes they will, let's say that this book is printed in 50 years, it's printed again, and then it was they changed some names, or they've changed the book in 2023. So it'll tell you it is the not the first edition, but it'll tell you that it's like the 10th printing of the 2023 version of the book. So this one happens to be first printing, first edition of the 2021 version of this book here. So that's that information on this one, 2021 first edition, first printing of the book. Now, this one I have 2 copies of, and if you can tell, they have the same cover, but one is smaller than the other. So this one automatically, I'm going to know that if there is a first edition book, it's not going to be this one. It's going to be this one. This is called a trade back size book, and one thing you want to look for is, let's say you don't have something to compare it with. You want to open up the dust jacket, and on the dust jacket, if you don't see a price on the dust jacket, there's no price on the dust jacket on here, we know that this is probably like a book club edition or a book of the month edition, where they just made it smaller, more compact, and they distributed it highly to a book club or some kind of mailing club that Miss Karen Slaughter is part of, or some kind of marketing thing that they've done. And you also, if we go to the copyright page, you're going to see something kind of different. There is no printer's key either. Nowhere on here is the word first edition. We don't have a printer's key. We don't have a sequence of numbers anywhere. And then the telltale sign, there is no price on this book. Now, let's look at this other one here. Same exact book, title and cover. You see here that there is a price on here. So that's a good sign that this could possibly be a first edition, or at least it's not a book club edition. So there is no price on there. Let's go to the copyright page on here, and then immediately you see it right there on the bottom. This actually is a first edition, first printing. So that's always good. You want to look for a price on the dust jacket. It's a good sign that it's not at least a book club edition. And here I want to show you something. If you automatically, it tells me this is not a first edition, first printing. It could be a first edition, but it's not a first printing. And automatically I could tell you because of this. It says here, instant New York Times bestseller. They cannot possibly know that in the first printing. So they don't have magical powers of prophecy. So this immediately tells me this is not a first printing. This does happen to be a first edition though, but not the first printing. So this book did very, very well. It was printed out, and let's say they only printed 1,000 of these books, but it became a bestseller. People were reading it over and over. Publisher and printer people say, hey, let's print some more out. and they printed it out again, and let's print some more out. It became a bestseller. And so for a marketing technique, because, oh, this is a New York Times bestseller, people are reading it, it must be a good book. They put that on the cover page. And here you see, it's not a book club edition. And let's go to the copyright page. And here you can see that it is I want to say fourth, but no, it's a third printing. It is a third printing of the first edition book here. And it tells you even when the first edition came out, when the first printing was. So I hope that helps. Knowing what you have is part of the fun of owning books and collecting books and loving books, and just knowing that they retain their value. If you are a book collector or want to start collecting books and you want to collect first edition, the most valuable ones are going to be first print, first edition books. And some books, the older they are, you don't have those printer keys, so there's other little signs and little telltale signs that tell you those things. But as for now, these ones, the printer's key in the copyright page, can help you find out if you do have a first print, first edition, which are the most collectible and the most valuable. You guys take care. Bye-bye.